Content warning! Just thought it'd be nice to let you know that this video will be talking about suicide, so if that's not something you want to think about today, this video might not be for you. So a couple of years ago, I was visiting my cousin and his kids, and they were watching really old episodes of Tom and Jerry. You know, Tom and Jerry, the cat-mouse duo, always getting into crazy shenanigans. And one episode in particular blew my mind. I just couldn't believe that there was ever a point where people thought it was okay to put this type of stuff in children's cartoons. These days, they're very low on violence, but back in the 50s, it was anything goes. I've been thinking about this for a while, and I've really wanted to make a video on it, so today's the day I'm actually doing that. So I looked it up just to see what else was controversial in Tom and Jerry, and I came across the controversy page of the Tom and Jerry wiki. This is what it says. These are the parts of the show that may not be suitable for general audiences, and there are 6 entries on this page. We got Blue Cat Blues, Mammy Two Shoes, The Truth Hurts, Casanova Cat, Mouse Cleaning, and His Mouse Friday. Here is the problem with this. None of these episodes are even the episode that I saw that made me think, holy crap, what's wrong with this show? Now, personally, I believe that the episode of Tom and Jerry I saw at my cousin's house is way worse to show children than 5 out of 6 of these episodes right here. So what I'm gonna do is show you the 5 out of 6, show you the episode I'm talking about, and then show you what I consider to be the most disturbing episode of Tom and Jerry. Get ready. Okay, I just realized the Mammy Two Shoes entry isn't an episode of Tom and Jerry, it's actually a character. Mammy Two Shoes is a recurring character in MGM's Tom and Jerry cartoons. She is a heavy-set, middle-aged African-American woman who often has to deal with the mayhem generated by the lead characters, but whether she's the owner of the home or merely the housekeeper is never really made clear. So here's the weird thing about this. Mammy Two Shoes was a stereotypical African-American woman right up until Tom and Jerry Tales. Now she's Mrs. Two Shoes. Guess what they did with her? They made her white. Problem solved. Just get rid of the black lady altogether. No more racism. We did it. In the modern Tom and Jerry Tales, a redesigned Mammy has appeared, debuting in the short Ho Ho Horrors and turning up again later on. Though keeping her buxom, overweight build, tough personality, southern accent, and tendency to call Tom Thomas, Mammy's skin tone has changed to ivory. Presumably to avoid any possible controversy. Yep, that's what they did. They said, hey, you know what? Maybe it's a little bit too offensive to have this black woman, southern black woman, who's also a maid. Let's just turn her white. Totally cool, everything's good now. Good job, everyone.
That's that. The whole house is clean. And brother, it better stay that way.
Okay, so she definitely sounded a little bit black there. This episode, by the way, is another one of those controversial episodes. It's called Mouse Cleaning.
Boy, when I get a hold of that low-down good for nothing. Hey, you. Have you seen a no-good cat around here? No, ma'am. I ain't seen no cat around here. There ain't no cat, no place, no house, no, ma'am.
I can definitely see the controversy in this one. So a whole lot of coal pours out. This cat gets covered in coal, pops up out of the ground, bam! Blackface. You can tell this is a little bit racist because of the fact that not only does he turn black, but his hair also changes so it looks more like a black person's hair. And when he walks away, he starts speaking in like this racist black person accent. 1948, it was a different time. Now, this is not the only example of blackface in Tom and Jerry. Most of the controversial episodes are considered controversial because of the blackface. This one's a pretty feel-good episode of Tom and Jerry. It tells the story of a dog, a cat, and a mouse. They're in a big fight, and then the dog says, hey, why are we fighting? Why don't we just get along and be friends? That's possible, right? So they become friends. I mean, just look at this scene right here. They're all lying down, having a nap together. I mean, he swallows a flower. I'm not really sure why, but he wakes up and he's like, oh, hey, you know what? I gotta make sure my friends are comfortable. Alarm goes off. Dog immediately turns it off so that nobody wakes up. It's so wholesome, isn't it? I had to show you that part just because it is an incredible moment in television history. Did you see what happened to that apple? And did you see how he looked afterwards? I think he liked it. So here is the problem with this episode of Tom and Jerry. They're all going out for a nice walk. Wait a minute. There is some oil on the ground. What are we gonna do about it? This guy takes off his skin. He takes off his friggin' skin. But unfortunately, a vehicle goes by and these guys get covered in black substance. Not so bad if it was just that, right? Not only do they turn black, but once again, they also get a change in hairstyle. You can see they got little bows in their ears now. And you may have also noticed that they all turn into dogs. Now that's fucked up. In episode 55, Casanova Cat, we've got more Blackface. In this episode, Tom decides to blow his cigar smoke into Jerry's face, giving him Blackface, then puts him on a hot plate and forces him to dance. I can see why some people had a problem with that. Last example we're gonna look at in terms of racism is His Mouse Friday. In this one, Jerry goes up to a pot and he somehow uses it to turn himself black, and then he pretends to be a savage.
Chibaba! Nick, Loco, Kokomo, Astabula, Yo-Yo, Loser.
This seems like it could be a little racially insensitive, you know, all things considered. I'm pretty sure he just said Yo-Yo a loser as well.
Yo-Yo, Loser.
Seems to me like he's trying to sound like a black person, but that could just be me being racist at this point. I don't know. Now, I'm willing to bet most of you probably already knew that old cartoons tend to be kind of racist. It's a pretty well-known fact, but I want to move on to the darker stuff in Tom and Jerry. I want to talk about the episode. Tom and Jerry in Downhearted Duckling. Downhearted Duckling is the ridiculous tale of the Ugly Duckling. Only thing is, they take it really far.
That looks like me. I'm ugly.
This duck isn't just sad about being ugly, he is literally suicidal.
I'm still ugly.
Jerry tries combing the poor kid's hair. That doesn't work. He still thinks he's ugly. So Jerry, being the wonderful guy that he is, keeps trying to help this poor ugly duckling. He gets him a little costume, but while he's gone to get that, this happens.
Goodbye, everybody.
Seriously? What the hell? This is in a children's show. An ugly duckling trying to cut his own head off because he's so ugly. But luckily, Jerry is there to swoop in and save the day, and he even has time to give the guy a funny look. Oh, you up to your shenanigans again. So he puts the outfit on the duck, but the mirror is ugly as hell, and the duck still thinks he's ugly as hell. So Jerry runs away to get a better mirror, but he comes back and the duck's gone. Where'd he go?
Nobody loves me. Nobody. Oh boy, I sure am ugly. I wish I was dead.
What the hell? I sure am ugly. I wish I was dead. Not something you hear in a lot of children's shows these days.
Will you eat me, Mr. Pussycat? Please eat me. I'm serious. Goodbye. Goodbye.
So we're now up to 2 suicide attempts by the Ugly Duckling and 2 just-in-time saves from Jerry. Good job, buddy.
Are you still gonna eat me? Okay. Go ahead.
So I guess he gets a little scared because he hops out of the sandwich before he gets bitten. Then he ends up in the tree, but then he has to change of heart again, and he gets back in Tom's mouth. But luckily, Jerry's there to save the day again. That's 3 for 3, Jerry.
Do you want some nice fresh goodbye? Oh, come on. Please? Pretty please? Open your mouth, girl.
The Ugly Duckling sweet talks this guy into eating him, but of course, we all know what happens then. Jerry saves the day. Jerry has no idea what he's doing, and he tries to give this guy a makeover. And then when Tom sees him, he runs away in horror, and he ends up sad again. Now don't worry guys, I know this is quite a depressing tale, but there is actually a happy ending. After about 4.5 failed suicide attempts, the duckling resorts to putting a paper bag over his head. And what do you know? A female comes along, pulls it up, realizes how cute he is, and they get together and they walk off into the sunset happily ever after. Definitely not an appropriate storyline for a modern children's show, I think. Yeah. And finally, guys, we are going to move on to what I think is the most disturbing episode of Tom and Jerry. It's called Blue Cat Blues.
Poor Tom. In a few minutes, it'll all be over. And for the first time since he met her, he'll be happy.
That's got to be the most depressing opening to any TV show episode ever. Poor Tom. In a few moments, it'll all be over, and for the first time since he met her, he'll be happy. Ugh.
Poor, miserable, lovesick creature. I suppose people will say I should have helped him. I know. But it's better this way.
How? How is it better to get hit by a train? Explain that to me. So this episode is about how Tom falls madly in love with some lady and he gets rejected again and again and again. Tries to give her a flower, she's already got a whole bunch from someone else. Tries to give her perfume, she gets a whole bunch from someone else. Dude puts every cent that he's got into a ring to give to her. And what do you know? She's already got a ring so big and beautiful and bright that you need to wear a welder's mask so you don't go blind when you see it. So Tom literally sells himself into slavery just to buy a car to impress this lady. Guess what happens next? That's right, she's already got a much bigger, much more beautiful car from someone else. So Tom goes to the bar and gets wasted on milk.
That's the story. The story of a cat with a broken heart. Too bad everybody doesn't have a girl like mine. A girl that loves me and only me. With every bit of her true blue, ever-loving heart.
Yep, that's right. Not only is Tom super depressed about not getting the woman that he wanted, but Jerry just found out that his woman left him for another mouse. You know what's gonna happen now. Jerry walks up next to Tom. Tom makes him a little room on the train tracks, and they sit down together in their sorrow and get hit by a train and die. The end. Bravo! Just what the kids needed. A rumor was going around the internet about this, saying that it was the final episode of Tom and Jerry and this was their tragic ending or whatever, but according to Snopes.com, that's false. Yes, Blue Cat Blues is a real episode where they sit on the train tracks as the train approaches, but it's not the final episode of the series, apparently, so there's that. They survived somehow. That's good. So what do you guys think? What's your cutoff for what should or shouldn't be in a children's show? And also, if you didn't already know, a lot of the racist stuff in Tom and Jerry was taken out in later releases. Do you think that's a good idea? Or do you think we should show the originals to people and just let them know, hey, this isn't okay, but it happened, it's a product of the past? Let me know down below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.